I think the title of this video is gonna be The Curse of Being a Polyglot. But it's not that dramatic as it sounds. Let me explain. So I consider myself somewhat a polyglot. I only speak 3 languages fluently, so other polyglots might get offended if I called myself a polyglot, but I do have a basic knowledge of a bunch of other languages. And something I struggle with is either that I make mistakes in the languages that aren't my native language, English for instance, or German. I still make mistakes in these languages, but I spot them immediately. But people are very eager to correct me. So that's something I struggle with, because if I tell them, well, I spotted it immediately, I kinda sound like a douchebag. It's really annoying to be in that position. But the biggest mistake I make nowadays is because of another language, and I make these mistakes even in my native language, Swedish. So people would correct me for stuff that aren't really wrong in that sense. It has nothing to do with my inability to speak the language, but it has to do with, for instance, I loan expressions from another language and I translate it directly into another language, and this is of course not considered correct in that language, but it's something I do because of the other languages I speak. And this of course correlates with the first thing I said. I make a mistake and I get corrected immediately, but I already know that I said something wrong. But the case here is that I take an expression, for instance, from another language because I use that language a lot, and then I apply it on the other language. And I spot this not immediately because I have to think about it for a while. And of course this might look like I don't know the language and I take an expression from my native language, but that's not the case. I totally make these mistakes in Swedish too. So I take an idiom or an expression from German or English and I apply it on Swedish, and then I have to think for a while because it doesn't sound right, but I'm not sure. And most of the times it's an expression from German that we also have in Swedish, but I'm not sure, so I have to look it up. And after I've looked it up, we most likely have it in Swedish, but still it's a pretty annoying feeling. It's so annoying. So now I would like some tips. How do you do it? How can you, if you speak multiple languages fluently, or more or less fluently, or you're very fluent in those languages, what do you do to not use something from one language and use it in another language? Because I cannot seem to pull that off for some reason, and it doesn't annoy me very much, but it's kind of annoying when I do it in Swedish, because I'm not sure if the expression exists in Swedish, even though I might never have heard it in Swedish. It's like my brain doesn't think in languages in that sense, or in words, but only the core of the expression, if you understand what I mean. So even if I haven't heard the expression before in Swedish, and maybe I've only heard it in German or English or another language for that matter, I have no idea if it's available in Swedish, even though I've never heard it in Swedish. So it sounds unfamiliar, but I'm not sure, even though I haven't heard it in Swedish. It's kind of weird, Please let me know in the comments below. Here, let me show you something. See, I've got some new merch. Isn't it beautiful? If you want to support this channel and my work, please go and buy a beautiful t-shirt with my initials, and we will see each other in another video. Goodbye.
Bye.